Ryan is corporate. Good stuff. Andy and Dwight are rocking the sales team. I feel very blessed. Fight!
What's up, everybody? Zach here with the Nerd Cave. I'm joined along with the man, the myth, the legend himself, one and only, for 1 week only. 1 week only. You better come in now. This is the special deal for only 3 payments of $999.99. And if you order now, we'll throw in this free copper knife that won't dull.
You sound like a Billy Mays sales ad.
That's when you say your name, dude. Come on.
I didn't know my name, and you just kept going. Like, you paused to give me my name, and then you just kept going. I'm Derek Daniel. What's up, everybody?
Guys, we hope that you're doing fantastic this week. We've got a killer episode for all of you, and I hope that you are copper knives. Exactly. Amy knows what I'm talking about. I hope that you're doing well. Let me know how you're doing down in the comments below. Smack that like button and share the stream with somebody that you love and somebody that you hate. We're not discriminating here.
Nope, they need love too, apparently.
You can hate them. That's up to you, between you and God. At least he doesn't do dump cake. Maybe he does. Maybe he does do the dump cakes.
Oh, that is.
You don't know what a dump cake is?
Maybe I've seen it. I just never knew what the term was.
It's like where you dump a bunch of stuff in and you bake it. Like, it's like hardly any work.
Oh, it's sort of like a meatloaf surprise.
Pretty much, but they're called dump cakes. But
Got you.
you got to say it. It's taking a dump.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that part, bro.
Yeah, it's a TikTok thing, but it's hilarious. I'll have to send it to you. But Derek, how has the week treated you?
Pretty good. Back in the grind. Last week I was on vacation. Now Saturday I got back to it. Was already thrown into the grind. It's sort of a welcome back gift. I was supposed to work 8 to 6 on Saturday, and then our closing cash office person called out, so I ended up working till 10:30 that night. So literally worked I had 2 1-hour breaks. So technically I was there for 14 hours, but I only worked 12 hours. So, but thankfully I had Sunday off.
Hours.
Yeah.
Woof.
Right.
Woof.
Once I get moved into my apartment, it won't matter that, because then I won't have a 45-minute drive.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when is the move?
Well, I go Saturday to sign the paperwork, but
Okay.
I gotta, I've got, of course, a few things mainly a TV, but I have to find a couch, a table, of course, kitchenware.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mattress. I just don't, because the way, I don't know, the bed, is weird because it's like metal, so it's not. It's like it did need a box spring, so I have to see if the frame I get needs a box spring, or if I'm fortunate enough to just where I just need the mattress, and that's fine. But yeah, it's just finding the things, finding furniture and all that. I did find a bathroom set with like a bath mat, seat cover, shower curtain. So I've started slowly getting some stuff. I don't, basically that's a long answer of no ETA at this moment. I know I'm signing the paperwork to make it officially mine.
Okay.
On Saturday. I already made a deposit, so they're holding it, but it won't be officially mine until Saturday.
So then you literally could move in right then and there.
Right. Well, it works out because I didn't want to wait too long to get it. So to sign it. So she's like, I wanted to do it Sunday because I was off, and they're like, well, we don't have office hours on Sunday, but what about Saturday? Luckily, I'm closing, and they're open from 10 to 2 on Saturday, and I don't go into work till 2, so I'm like, I'll just be there at 10.
Okay. Well, that works out perfectly, man. I'm excited for you. I know everybody's excited for you. Guys, put some 5s in chat. Let Derek know that you're excited for the big move, because that it means a lot of things. It means freedom.
Yeah.
You get your
From
own
Troy.
pad. Freedom from Troy, you get your own pad, and that means that you're going to be streaming 7 nights a week on the NerdCave.
I don't know about that one now.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Lord. You have some ambitious plans, sir.
Yeah, 7 nights a week, man.
7
By the way,
days a week.
I have a link for you.
Lord. Get you a link.
With literally a ton of stuff that Amy has put together on Amazon for you to look at for your apartment. Okay. So
Thank you, Amy.
I know she put a lot of work into this, so she cares about you.
She does. I know.
I sent you a link.
Okay. Where? So I know where to look.
I texted it to you. You don't have to look right now, but I texted it to you.
Okay. All right. There it is. I got the notification.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I texted it to you.
Well, I don't want to be looking on my phone and you're like, oh, I sent it to you through Discord. I'm like, all right.
No. I sent it to your phone. So there you go. Boom. Taken care of. Amy said, I couldn't sleep one night. I don't know what all you needed. So she put in a ton of stuff. Look at it, see what you want, and you can go from there. But she made a big old list for you. Big old list for you. Now, Derek.
Speaking of things I found on, just a side tangent, sorry. Just a side, I found it today. I was scrolling through the old Facebook, and one thing I wanted to get just to try out, found a cookbook. And it's anime inspired, and I'm like,
okay,
oh baby.
All right, now Derek, this is not a dig or anything. I don't know. Do you know how to cook?
I haven't done it. I did it a lot when I was in high school, believe it or not. So I did
Okay.
it. We made it like a ritual at our house. Like my mom wanted all three of us kids to cook, and my sister was the
Mm,
youngest. So I mean, of course, she didn't cook that much, but it was mainly
yeah.
me and my brother. Now I can grill out. That's for sure. Like I still
Mm,
grill out from during the big holidays and from time to
okay.
time. So
Okay.
I can grill. I just haven't cooked in a while. So
Okay.
I have to dust off the old chops. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, grilling is cooking, Derek. I'll just say that
Fair.
grilling is cooking, so you can sustain yourself. So you're not just eating out all the time, because eating out,
Oh my God, it's expensive.
it's so expensive these days. Like it was expensive when I used to do it all the time, but now it's even more expensive.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, and to be fair though, like depending on where you go grocery shopping, it could be sometimes eating out is is a better option.
yeah, well, I know you work at the Big P.
Yeah.
And that place is expensive. Like it ain't for
No.
the faint of heart, if you will.
That's why you shop the BOGO deals.
Yeah. If y'all don't know what
Like now
BOGO
my talent,
is,
buy
ahead.
one get one.
Yeah, buy one get one.
Just like I didn't really, because I was off. We change ads Tuesday night after we close into Wednesday morning before we open. I was off yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to go look at what's new on the ad. Come in today, and I'm bagging I'm bagging at a register. Customer comes up, and they have a bunch of Talenti, the gelato stuff, and I'm like, oh, is it is it BOGO? And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, so Talenti's a BOGO deal. So your boy's gonna
Okay.
stock up on those salted caramel truffle layers.
I don't sound healthy, my friend, but it sounds delicious nonetheless.
Yeah, gelato's better for you than ice cream, technically.
Technically, like I had gelato for the first time a few weeks. Well, it's been probably about a month or two now.
Yeah.
Very delicious. Like it's totally different, like texture than ice cream, because it's made totally different and everything. But I like me some gelato. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Hope everyone is doing well. Let us know how you are down in the comments below. We've got an awesome show for you tonight. We've been talking about Sony. We got a lot of Sony news to cover. We got some Microsoft stuff that is kind of crazy to talk about. Epic and their shenanigans, Capcom as well, and a ton more, of course, because we got the quick hits. We got the PlayStation quickies. We got, if you care about gaming, you're in the right place, because we got an awesome show for you. So let us know how you are. Derek, I have to ask, have you played anything this week?
So it is with great regret that I must say the streak is broken, because Sunday after that 14-hour day, I needed to recoup. I just watched football all day. So I barely moved. Like felt like I got hit by a Mack truck. And then yesterday I was, knew I had to work today. So I was off yesterday, and I'm like, let me work through most of this doc, and then, had to do some other things that I've been neglecting, so didn't get it. I tried to fit it in, but it didn't work out yet like I planned to yesterday. So I will rectify it next week, but alas, I did not play anything.
I got you. Tuesday was community game night. So
oh yeah, how did that go?
It went well. We tried a new game called Party Animals.
Ooh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's a lot like Gang Beast, but this got cute animals instead. My God, that game is absolutely crazy and hilarious. Like, it was just pandemonium. Like, so much fun yeeting people and getting yeeted and just trying to find out tactics of how to like play this game, because like the controls are pretty loose and everything, but it's a ton of fun, especially when you get a bunch of people playing and everything. And it being on Game Pass makes it even better, where you can just play it. If you've got an Ultimate subscription, you can play it on the Xbox or whatever. But I played it on xCloud and ran smooth, ton of fun. I I really enjoyed it. Hey Nate, how's it going? Talk about some party animals. But yeah, man, it was a ton of fun.
Did you some Facebook Marketplace list for some furniture finds? Appreciate that.
See, Amy's got the hookup, man.
I see that.
Amy's got the hookup. But yeah, it was hilarious. Nate says the game was a blast. Like everybody enjoyed it that played it, and it was just crazy stuff. Like once you get knocked out, you can start like throwing things at the competitors.
All right.
To like knock them out. And like if somebody like Murdoch would like, he'd like knock me out or whatever, so I would like have the vendetta of like going after him like once I was like on the next screen where I could throw things at him.
Yeah.
So he'd be standing there, and then just like this dog treat would like launch and knock him in the head and knock him out, or he'd be trying to climb something and I just like throw it again. It was great. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait to play more of it with everybody, because man, it was a blast. It was a ton of fun, and the music is great in that game. The game looks really good as well. Like it's not poorly done. It's like very high level looking game, and it had several different maps. Yeah, it was just really, really fun, and we didn't even play all the maps. There was like 4 more that we played for like an hour and a half and didn't even touch 4 of the maps. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it randomized or you just selected?
Like I selected like 4 or whatever, and like however many maps you have is like how many you'll play or whatever.
Okay.
So I didn't want to like put a ton, but one of the maps has a subway car in it.
Oh, I already know how that goes.
And my lord, it was just craziness trying to like yeet people into the subway track and everything. And I fell down once, and I was like climbing up, and the climb was so slow, but I was able to scrape by and get out before getting just railroaded by that thing. So, but yeah, I Party Animals is a must play for sure.
Good.
And we should definitely put it on our next Nerd versus Nerd.
That's you have my interest, sir.
Yeah.
When I beat you, I don't want to hear you crying.
Oh, I don't cry, Derek.
You're just salty.
Well, that's like I took out my tear ducts, so like all the salt water just goes back in.
I mean, I know
how
that goes.
And now we can play Marvel Snap on the computer.
We can. So that's true.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful night. We are about to get into the show proper. If this is your first time joining us, I will tell you a little bit about how this is going to work. We're going to jump into the news. We're going to be talking about all the things that have happened this week. We want your thoughts. We want your ideas. We want your opinions on each of these. We're going to try as best as possible to have a conversation. So if you think about anything, if you got an opinion about anything, don't wait until we get done with the article or discussing something to put something in, because unfortunately how this works between you typing and us seeing it, it's going to be behind and we're going to miss that comment, and it's really hard to get back to it. Kind of wrapping it back around once we've started the next one. So if you got something you want to say about the articles, go ahead. When you have that thought, boom, start typing in the comments. So when we get ready to discuss your comments, they're there ready for us to talk about them, because we love getting to talk about what you think as well as what we think. It's a fun part of the show. So definitely let us know what you think. And how this also works is we're going to reintroduce ourselves, because we cut this all down and everything, so it's a cleaner experience for the people that watch it on the post, on the replay or whatever. So I am very, very excited for this one. We got some good stuff, some good news and some not so good news.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag this week.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. So without further ado, let's get into this week's show, starting in 3, 2, 1. This week, Sony loses a CEO. Microsoft might leave gaming altogether. Epic lays off over 800 plus employees, and Capcom wants more of that bank, because this is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with, in a dusty antique shop, you stumble upon a forgotten oil lamp. You knock it over and accidentally release a powerful genie who is ready to grant your wishes. Your life is transformed by the magic of riches and bettering the world. This is all thanks to the mighty and powerful Zephyr Zarhar, the genie.
First thing that popped in my mind was from Aladdin. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Well, Zephyr Zarhar, welcome to the show. We're glad that you're here. Where would you rank this on the list of names?
So it was short but sweet and simplistic, straight to the point, which I do, is good from time to time. Let's see. Let me look at this top 10, because we've got Galrinth, Thorod Ragason, Talolocan, Vexar Skirata, Max Steelheart, Saris Olthora, Victor Van Housen, Inspector Percival Ravenscroft, King Darkheart, and Sheriff Steelheart.
Does it break the top 10, Derek?
It does break the top 10.
Ooh.
And see, this is, this is what, when we finally figure out a formula for these names, and just, Amy's just, it's hard, when you're at the top constantly, in the top 10, it's hard to pick out what to kill, because, when you look down past the top 10 and you're like, oh man, these are some good names too,
Yeah.
I'm going to put it right below Victor Van Housen, the Vaudevillian Vampire, as the new number 8.
Let's go. Victor Von Housen, the Vaudevillian Vampire, probably one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Do you want to know my number 1, Derek?
I know it's the one I don't care for.
It's either John Stevenson, the Urban Hiker. That's probably my number 1, or oh, what is that one? It's like the princess one that you hated as well.
Oh, Delafina Warrior Princess.
Delafina Warrior Princess. Those are good
ones. Which, I'm looking in between, because it's like sandwiched between it's John Stevenson at 25, Delafina at 30. By the way, that's our 30th name. That's crazy to think about.
Wow.
And we still have 3 months to go in the year. So, I'm looking at the names in between, and I'm like, man, I think I put John Stevenson too high.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll talk about that more later, because we're going to have a whole discussion at the end of the year for the names that we have given Derek throughout this whole season of the Nerd Cave News. If you want to put your name in to possibly see it in the show, you can do that as well. We have a link in the description, so your name could possibly show up here, and you could name Derek. But guys, this episode of the Nerd Cave is brought to you by the Epic Game Store, where you can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout. You can do this at no charge to you. It just a little percentage goes towards us, and it helps us out a lot. You can also support us by going over to Coffee Brand Coffee and our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com, but we'll talk more about that later, because now it's time for the gaming discussion. Capcom president thinks video game prices are too low.
Yeah, so Capcom president Haruhiro Sugimoto has stated at last week's Tokyo Game Show that he feels video game prices are too low, and that the increasing cost of developing games should be reflected in their price on the market. Quote, personally, I feel that game prices are too low. Development costs are around 100 times higher than they were the days of the Famicom / NES. But the price of software hasn't risen so much. There is also a need to raise wages in order to attract talented people, given that wages are rising across the industry as a whole. I think the option of raising unit prices is a healthy form of business. Capcom has yet to increase the price of its major game releases to $70, whereas many companies, including EA and 2K, have bumped up the cost of their latest titles, and Sony. Elsewhere, Sugimoto added that he doesn't feel video game sales are being affected by the current economic climate. Quote, business confidence and high prices have little to do with the games industry, just as the recession doesn't stop people from going to the cinema or going to their favorite artist's concert. High quality games will continue to sell well, even during the Lehman Brothers collapse. Games sold well. So, here's my thought, and I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute, because, we've heard Colin Moriarty talk about, pound the table that video games are the cheapest they've ever been. And, while they have raised to $70, and you can argue even $60 or $50 is still too much for a game, when you look at it from a business perspective, yes, the development cycles have increased. They're longer now because of the technology. They're able to go deeper with the immersion, with the accessibility options. They spend more time doing this. Especially when you make games bigger, they last longer. Multiplayer online, games. So he does have a point that the fact that development times and costs have only gone up and they're lasting longer. Now, granted, they've curtailed a lot of that by, adding in microtransactions, making stuff live service, with the cosmetic stuff, and like adding a longer tail so you invest in more money with it. And, when just for the development cycles, like I said, like we've talked about it, earlier this year, how like turnaround for video games, like with the exception of sports games, they have not turned, it's years before we see a sequel. Like when the shortest time, like for an example, like God of War 2018 and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, they're short, like the shortest turnaround we've seen from a game to a sequel has been 4 years. Like God of War to like 2018 to Ragnarok, 4 years. Fallen Order to Survivor, 4 years. Like that's the shortest. Like it's 5+ years before we see a sequel. And like, let's just like, again, like it's curtailed. Like while they're wanting to be more technical, like I thought about this last night while I was reading this article, putting the show together. Let's just use an example. And I'm terrible at fighting games, but let's just look at the evolution of fighting games, right? Back in the day, it used to be when the fighting game came out, the roster was the roster, that was it. Then came the PS3 360 life cycle, and they started to be like, hey, why people are clamoring for like, oh, why wasn't this character included, or why did you exclude this character? So it was around the PS3 360 cycle that season passes became a thing. And it's like, hey, we're going to add an extra 5 fighters to your roster, over the course of a year. And then people were like, cool. And then the FGC, the fighting game community, was adapted in the PS4, Xbox One era, became huge, blew up. So they wanted to get more in the technicalities aspect, the more of the data analysis aspect of it. So they're like, hey, we need to get more technical with our games, but we're going to take a way longer, to make games that are going to appeal to the fighting game community. So season pass 2s were invented. So it wasn't just one, they started doing a second season pass. And then at the end of the PS4, Xbox One cycle, games just went absolutely, the fighting games just got crazy with it. Like Mortal Kombat 11 had 3 season passes. And we're seeing this now. Some of the games like that, I know they're not fighting games, but like Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, a game we played back in the Game Club days. It's on season pass 6. Now, granted, you start off with your first season pass, it has like maybe 5 to 7 fighters. Then as they add more, you maybe get 3 at most now. So yes, obviously you don't get as much bang for your buck, but they keep adding on season passes. Like Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Kakarot are other examples where they just keep adding on more content and more season passes. So because of that, yes, it curtails to make up for some of the cost. At the same time, it's also giving them a longer life, like a longer lifespan, because now, even back in the PS3 360 days, you put out a game and like people were like, all right, when's the next one? Like I literally had a guy when Street Fighter 5 came out, after about a couple months of playing it, he was like, when do you think 6 is going to drop? They were already talking about the next iteration of the game. So, when you go this long drought with no content and mum is the word on a sequel, you have to curtail that somewhat. And so that's why season pass 2s and 3s and whatever was born. So I get it from a business standpoint. At the same time, it I don't know, it's a slippery slope. Like, yes, you can increase prices of games, but and kind of funny's talked about this, like any video game podcast that is in the business and in the industry worth their salt will say the same thing. Game development is hard, and like where was I going? Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Um, you know, Anybody will tell you that. But go ahead with your thoughts on this, Zach, because maybe I'll find my thought. So
I got you, fam. Like a lot of the stuff that you're saying is 100% spot on. And
Mhm,
thinking of the comments of this president of Capcom, you know,
mhm,
you look at it and the cost of development has gone through the roof. We were already talking about that. But inflation is something that people don't want to really talk about. But
yeah,
inflation is a huge time where the dollar keeps dropping due to
yes,
inflation. COVID had a lot to do with that, where people
correct.
weren't working and they were just pumping money into the economy and everything.
Mhm,
So the cost of living has gone up. That also means the
mhm,
cost of production has risen as well, because the building that these people are in, they're having to pay for that. The electricity, they're having to pay for that. The computers that they're working
mhm,
on, they have to pay for that. They have to pay for the people that actually work there. So
yeah,
all of it is is increasing to keep pace with the overall economy and everything. And your point to DLC, to season passes, microtransactions
mhm,
and everything, it has been a way for games to live longer and to not have to restart the development cycle, but to be able
mhm,
to have, okay, we've sunk this huge cost into this game. We can put a little bit more. We're not having to start over here, but we could
mhm,
make even more money and add to this game and give it more life. With games that are not necessarily online, they're not live services or multiplayer.
yeah,
DLC is the only way that happens. I feel like a lot of games have kind of moved away from that. Though, you look at Sony, they
yeah,
don't really do that much. They usually go too big with their DLCs, where they come out as like they're the 1.5 to whatever that
you're
game
right.
was. Uncharted's done it. Miles Morales has done it.
Yep.
But you look at like Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk 2077, that's a huge DLC pack for that game. And then you
Right.
look at Bioshock had a ton of awesome DLCs back in the day, but
Mhm,
it goes past just that. Like, they're trying to maintain a quality of their games, and the only way to do that is to be able to continue to hire top quality talent. They're trying to
correct.
support the developers, and it's this catch 22. We'll talk about Epic here in a little bit, but it's like, the higher the price is, like, okay, well, that should be meaning more money is going towards the developers and being able to produce games long term at this company, where we've seen Embracer, where they've totally, kind of screwed the pooch, where they've overextended themselves. They gobbled up too many entities, too many developers, and now they're having to close and get rid of people because they're not maintaining quality and they're overgrowing. And a lot of companies are doing that right now. But
Right.
on the other side, where we're kind of standing at, is consumer affordability. Like, you think about it, it's like $70 when the dollar doesn't have as much spending
Stretch.
power. Yeah, stretch. That's a lot of money, man. I can go buy a bunch of groceries for $70. And
Well, maybe.
you,
Because I remembered my point I was gonna make before, and you were probably
mhm,
gonna touch on this. The average gamer, if you listen to whomever in the industry that's, covers the news in the industry, they'll tell you the average gamer
mhm,
buys 3 to 4 games a year.
yeah,
So they're gonna, because of time, because of money, because of whatever, insert exhibit A here, as to
yeah,
why, or reason A here as to why they can't, Now, back in my heyday when I worked at GameStop, yeah, you could see my pre-order list. It was like 20 games long. Like, granted, yeah, I was the exception to the rule, but now even I like working at say a real job, but working at a job that requires more time, that has different structures of what shifts are and whatnot, and
Yeah.
like the drive. Like, I don't have like heck, I didn't have time to play Alan Wake, like finish the boss fight I had in chapter 3 in Alan Wake this week because of I've got other things in life to go on.
Yeah.
So, and especially for those people who don't make as much money to spend $70 all the time, that needs to eat, that needs to make sure the lights are kept on, to make sure that they have hot water, in the morning for their shower or at night, and to the other side of this, it's like, yes, game development, yes, games, from a development cost should go up. At the same time, for the average consumer, who knows what that might mean? Like, yeah, they might
Mhm.
only buy 4 games a year, but that's $70 less that you get, because if you increase it anymore, they're not going to potentially buy your game. That's probably 1 or 2 games less that they're going to buy a year now.
Yeah, 100%. Because when you think about it, games over the last few years, the value of that game has gone down because their games have released broken or unfinished, and they're like, we'll
Yep.
fix them in post. So the perception of value from the gamer side of things has definitely gone down. It's like, are we about to get a game that just doesn't work? Are we
Right.
getting a Cyberpunk 2077? Are we getting a No Man's Sky? Or are we getting an Elden Ring? And I think that's goes to the competition side of things, where there are certain developers are going to over deliver in their games. From
Yep.
Software is one of them. Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog. They're a group of developers that really, really put out good games. And it's like, okay, I know I can trust giving my money to them. But again, it goes back to your point. It's like people don't have a ton of expendable cash. So
Right.
the alternative kind of model to this is, okay, free to play games where you
Yep.
have like your Fortnites, where you can literally play Fortnite for free and never
Yep.
buy anything.
Correct.
Halo is another one, Apex, Warzone is another one, all of those things. But then you think about something like Game Pass. Man, it's like $9.99 for just the Xbox version of it, or $16.99 for the Ultimate Edition. But you can play all of those games on there. And you don't even have to have a console at this point to play. You just have to
Right.
have a controller and a browser
Correct.
where you can play. And it's like you look at all of this and it's like, all right, there are people that are taking into consideration the dollar for the consumer.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's a good thing, but there are a lot of people that are only looking at, well, it's costing me this much. It's costing me this much. And it's like,
Right.
okay, I understand that from a business point of view, but when it costs me, to fill up my car $40,
Yep.
guess what? I got to go to work.
Mhm.
If it costs me $40 a week to go to work, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to buy that video game.
Correct.
I'll go and play my backlog,
Yeah.
because everybody's got a backlog. Let's just be honest. Everybody's got a backlog.
I'm the king of the backlog.
So it's like, when you really think of it, it's like you have to make a decision. Okay, we might make less games, bring up the quality, and yeah, they might cost more, but we're really ensuring that we can give that quality, that when people look at it, there's a value to this thing, and we can't just pump out just trash anymore. But of
Right.
course, that's all still going to happen. But I do want to hit Nate's comment here. He said, because of inflation, I don't want to spend anything on games. I'm thinking of growing my own stuff and raising my own meat. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are in that position where it's like, man, it's every time you turn around, somebody's got their hand out. They're wanting something out of
Yep.
your wallet. And, games are a luxury. When you really get down to it, gaming
Correct.
is a luxury. And yeah, there are different ways to do it, the free to play models and all of that. But when you really have to pinch pennies, you're not going to spend that money, you know?
Correct. And now to again play devil's advocate, this is what happens because I know a lot of it, like when I was in college or whatnot, people, the constant thing was about how much athletes get paid, and like sporting events, like how much they cost in general. I get it. I hear everything, and I will agree in a lot of cases that you are correct on that. However, we the consumers are at fault because we like again vote with your wallet,
Yep.
and that's not just in video games. That is in every aspect of entertainment. Don't like a movie? Don't you watch a trailer, be like, this movie's not for me. Don't go watch it. Just wait till it goes on streaming on demand. Don't like a game, wait till it comes to Game Pass or PS Plus and give it or PlayStation Extra or whatever it is and try it out. Like we the people are
Mm-hmm.
putting, and I'm going to stand on my soapbox a minute. We put that premium on entertainment because it's an escape from reality.
Yep.
We want to get away from the harshness of life, and just feel good about something, just enjoy something. So people in like big wigs in these entertainment businesses see that and they're like, ching, we're gonna make you pay for this, but if you enjoy it, you're not gonna care. You might gripe every once in a while, but if you keep paying for that and keep buying this stuff, what you're really saying is, I just hate that I love to play this or enjoy this or go watch this product that you're putting out for me.
Yeah.
So again, like, yes, there are economy seats. There are like the cheap seats at sporting events. There are like waiting for games to go on sale or buying a pre-owned. I don't down that. I don't shame anyone for that. You do what you can, but again, it all comes down to we put a price on that premium, so that way, in essence, we are dictating what that entertainment value should be.
Yeah, 100%. And there is an interesting thing I heard this week on a podcast, Diary of a CEO, really, really good show. And the person that was being interviewed, her name's Cody, she was talking about how, when you are in like, struggling financially, you tend to go towards like escapism or whatever, that sort of deal, entertainment. That's where you spend more of your money and all of that. But the thing that
Correct.
was interesting was there's a part in Africa where the most TVs are located. That is the poorest part of Africa, but every home has a TV in it.
Holy cow.
Every home has some sort of TV in it, and it goes to your statement. It's like we vote with our wallet. We want that entertainment. We want that escape. And, we've talked about, if you don't want this game, if you don't want to see microtransactions, don't buy a game that has it in there. Don't play those games. Don't give your money to that. And a lot of people did. And then we see where we are now because people did go, oh man, that skin looks really cool. I'm going to buy this skin. And now we've got it all these season passes and all this stuff. Why I'm saying all of that is, like, there has to be there's a breaking point, and with some of the stories that we're going to talk about here in just a second, it's very, very interesting. So I want to move into this next story, Derek. Microsoft could leave games altogether if it doesn't dramatically grow beyond its console efforts.
This was interesting to read because we all know that, yes, they are technically third in the race, but this is interesting to hear. The court hearings between Microsoft and the FTC seem to be the gift that keeps on giving in terms of news and information we otherwise would be privy to. Like how Xbox boss Phil Spencer admitted that Microsoft may just up and leave the games industry altogether. That's if the Xbox business isn't able to grow dramatically beyond its console efforts, which puts Xbox's whole strategy and focus on cloud gaming and subscription services rather than selling a new plastic box every 6 to 7 years into proper context. Spencer told the court this during his deposition, which, along with plenty of other unannounced Xbox plans, was recently made public. Spencer's words to the court were that he can quote fairly safely say that if we do not make more progress than this off of the console, we would exit the gaming business, end quote. He then went on to talk about how Microsoft wants to flesh out its mobile efforts, and again states that if it doesn't succeed, quote, there's really no future for us in Microsoft investing in gaming, quote, end quote. While this might seem like a dream come true for console warrior Sony ponies, where Microsoft actually to leave the games industry, it would be absolutely devastating to the landscape. If not for Microsoft entering the space when it did and all the games it influenced and helped bring about, there would be so much that we all hold dear about missing games today. More competition, not less, helps create a space that encourages better games, and players always benefit from better games being available. That Microsoft is even at this point where this is a consideration is scary. And it is because now, granted, how detrimental they would have to get to actually
Yeah.
consider up and moving that, that's that part we don't know yet. Like they'd have to pretty much be in the tank, and Bill Gates come to Phil Spencer and be like, "Look, man, we got to cut ties here. We go, sorry, thank you for your service and all your years of dedication, but we got to let you go." Like, obviously, the only of the big three that was ever in jeopardy in recent memory was Nintendo after
Mhm.
during the Wii U era.
Yeah.
Like, if the Wii U did, if the Switch did not take off after the debacle that was the Wii U, there's a great chance now that I don't remember if they ever said this publicly because I know there was a lot of people speculating. Pretty much Nintendo, it wouldn't surprise me if they either just went solely to handheld or they would have just said, you know what? Let's branch out. Let's be Sega. Let's just be a publisher, put our games on whatever platform suits our interests and our needs and be
Mhm.
done with it. We are done making consoles. But the fact that, because, again, like I alluded to a moment ago, we all know that right now they are currently the third horse in this race, like with Sony out in front and then Nintendo bringing, not far behind them. Or you could also dictate that they could be one. They're basically 1A, 1B, and then bringing up the rear is Microsoft, but they are still doing well. Like, we reported how much they're killing it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
How they're trying to increase cloud gaming, and like they're just doing a lot of consumer friendly moves. But to see this is like, okay, are they doing it at the cost of their own business? Like, because they've reported like they spent all this money into cloud gaming and it's not turning a profit, but they're still trying to right the ship and get it right so that they can make a profit on this. Um, and I know they've seen Game Pass subscriptions kind of take a slight dip, but the money is still there for them.
Mhm.
So it is interesting to see, and it's crazy to hear this from Phil Spencer himself, that it's like, look, man, if we don't see a drastic turnaround, we go peace out. And it's like, bro, like, no, like, and obviously for someone like Phil Spencer, he'll land somewhere and be successful. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
is the one that's
100%.
right. He has righted the ship since the always online Call of Duty dogs debacle, that
Yeah.
was the Xbox One premiere. But again, something like this, like, what was it? Like, I'll make it make sense in a minute. Just bear with me. It's sort of like how at the beginning of the year, or was it last year? And I think it was this year. The baby formula shortage, right? The plant
Yeah.
shut down. And they are still like, granted, it's gotten better since then, but they're still playing catch up. There's not all the brands that are out that are still on the shelf that people need. So like just obviously when you start down behind the eight ball, it takes it's sort of like also trust, right? It takes years and years and years to build trust. All it takes is one moment, one instance, one shutdown, and it takes away years of progress, years of credit, and you have to spend a lifetime building it back up. So
Mhm.
we don't know how far it set Xbox back, but that he's still trying to right the ship, and we don't know, how far back that they are.
Yeah, 100%. And like Phil Spencer has done an amazing job. Like we tout Phil Spencer all the time for all the amazing stuff that he has done for
Correct.
Xbox. Because like you think about Xbox, the first one, Xbox 360, like those were favorably thought about. And then E3 when they're like, "Oh, this is always online and it has all of these like things for the Xbox One." And that rubbed people the wrong way. It was like,
Right.
that's not what we want. We don't want all this TV junk. We don't want Connect have to be plugged in. We don't want
Yeah.
any of this. But thankfully, they've definitely moved towards a better thing. But this would have huge market implications
Correct.
because, like, you think about it, Xbox might be third in sales and all of that. But I would say, with Game Pass included on this, Microsoft is probably higher up than we really think about it. Like, yeah, they might not be
True.
moving units, but like all of us that played Party Animals on the community night, all of us
Yeah.
played on xCloud.
Wow. Okay.
All of us played on xCloud and it ran great. Dan's didn't run that well, but everybody else's ran well.
Mhm.
And I have seen xCloud go so far in the last year or two, and that's compared to playing on Stadia I didn't try Luna out, but Stadia was just trash. Like Cloud has been amazing, but like you think about like gamers in general, think about how many people have invested time, money, and so much other things into the Xbox ecosystem.
Correct.
They, you know, that's where their games live. That's where I play Call of Duty. That's where, you know, all of these things, you know, they've got all of that. They've got X Pass or Game Pass, you know, but if they went out, that would change all of those things. It's like nobody's offering that same kind of service. PlayStation Plus, nothing close to Game Pass.
No.
You know, and you look at like Xbox Live, I still consider the better of the live service where you can go on and play multiplayer compared to like PlayStation.
Correct.
Definitely
Yeah.
compared to Nintendo. My God.
Oh yeah. I mean, at this point, Stadia was almost better than Nintendo Switch Online.
100%. And then like you think about all the developers that are underneath, because we'll get to it later, the CMA have like approved the buying of Blizzard and Activision. But it's like you've got 343, Obsidian, Rare, Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, ZeniMax, all of these things, you know, Gears of War. I can't remember their name right this second. Coalition. Like you've got all of these amazing developers, and it's like, would they just be shut down or would they be auctioned off?
Right.
You know, and the way Phil has kind of structured everything is everybody's supporting everybody. Like it's not like, you know, siloed off like PlayStation is. So it's very different. And then it's like, what happens to cloud gaming? Does all that technology just like stay with Microsoft and just get kind of turned off and then nobody ever gets to use it again? Like that would stink. That would really stink, because I feel like when you look at xCloud, they're the ones that are pushing it. And, you know, when you really get down to it, PlayStation was really scared about them buying Activision Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, you might not be number one right now, but this is something that could make that happen.
Correct.
And the competitiveness of PlayStation to Xbox, Nintendo's doing their own thing. You know, they're being Nintendo, but the competition has made both companies better.
Yes, immensely better.
Yeah, it's like every time we put out a new console, they're amazing. Like they're both are amazing. Yeah, one might be a little bit more powerful, but the other one optimizes it better. Whatever. But it's like,
and it's fractions better. You know, it's fractions of a difference.
Yeah, but it's like that competition has pushed us to where we've got the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Like if we didn't have Xbox coming into play back in the day, man, I can't even think of what the gaming industry would be, because Sega got out of it after the Dreamcast. It would be literally just Nintendo doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then PlayStation, I don't even know what PlayStation would look like. Would we have gotten God of War 2018?
Fair. Good point. Like, would they have done it? Would we have gotten games like Ghost of Tsushima? Like, that's, you know, new IP like that. Would we have gotten Spider-Man? Like
Last of Us.
Yeah. Like, well, yes and no. Would we have gotten a sequel to Last of Us? You know what I mean? Because I think Last of Us was in the cards, but would we have gotten a sequel? You know,
well, like if you think about it, like PlayStation 2 and Xbox, like that was when that happened. Then PlayStation 3, we got
Uncharted.
Like, would they have made that jump if it wasn't for Xbox doing their thing? Gears of War, how gritty it was. Halo, how storytelling was then. It's like you think about that and it's like, I don't know if they would have made that jump, or would it have just been the kind of Uncharted type games. So all of that to say is, I think this is a little bit more, well, if we don't do better, then we're going to leave. I feel like it is kind of hyperbole a bit.
Fair.
But I think this is, if it were to happen, it's like a 15-year thing. Like it's not.
Oh yeah, like it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a slow burn.
Yeah, it's not anywhere near in the cards, but it is a really weird thing to be said and to think about, and that's why I kind of wanted to break down. Like, it's like this has a lot of implications that, you know, I know it said Sony ponies in there and all of that, which I thought was hilarious, but it's
Right.
like I want Xbox to do well because that pushes PlayStation to do well, that pushes Nintendo to do well. So that's what I want. I want the gaming industry to be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Because when they do well, we win.
Yep. 100%. And you know what you could be winning at right now? With some exceptional quality coffee with no gimmicks and no politics, because we got an awesome coffee sponsor called Coffee Brand Coffee. You can check them out. They've got nearly 4,000 verified reviews. Most of them are 5 out of 5. I got 12 coffee blends, 12 organic teas, and 3 hot cocoa flavors. If you like cold brew, they got that as well. And those K-Cups, slap it in your Keurig and pow! Wow. It's all good. It's all good because freshness is guaranteed with Coffee Brand Coffee because they roasted right then and there. It is roasted to order and it is delicious. They've got US based facilities, so it's not flying all over the place. Them beans are roasted right here in the good old US of A. Amy has loved her medium roast and her chai tea. She's really wanting to check out the butterscotch toffee coffee.
Ooh,
that they've got.
sounds good.
They've got some pumpkin spice coffee. They got some fall stuff. So go check them out, guys, and elevate your coffee experience with Coffee Brand Coffee. Use code NerdCave at checkout or the link in the description below to get 5% off your order today.
Do it.
My throat was dry, so I had to take a little drink.
At least you got through the ad read.
Yeah, I it was like right when I hit code NerdCave, it was like, oh.
It's like Gara got sand in your throat.
Oh man, like crazy Gara, you know what I mean? Before you like,
yeah.
You got the talking no jutsu happen to him.
I was you once.
I know I was you. I know you. I know.
Because I am you.
You know that I know that you know that I know you. Guys, let's move on to our third topic tonight. Epic Games lays off over 800 employees.
Woo! 2 weeks in a row that you have brought an article to my attention. Like, of course, I've been at work all day, get home, don't even realize it. Like, last week I was signing some papers over to apply for an apartment, came home and you're like, oh, did you see Division 3 got in? I'm like, what? And then like literally we get on, we discussing, it's like, oh, by the way, do you want to talk about the Epic thing? I'm like, what? And you're like, yeah, this happened. And I'm like, what? So first reported by Bloomberg, Epic Games is laying off 830 employees, or about 16% of its workforce, which is 800 is a lot of people, but just saying 16% of your workforce is wild. Epic Games shared a memo from CEO Tim Sweeney went out to the staff in a new blog post. Separately, Epic is, quote, divesting, I don't mean of digesting, music service program Bandcamp and will spin off most of Super Awesome, a kid-safe technology company. Both were acquired by Epic Games in 2022 and 2020, respectively. Around 250 people are leaving Epic through the divestitures from Bandcamp and Super Awesome. News of the layoffs comes a day after Epic announced a Fortnite V-Bucks price rise, and just weeks after Epic's chief Fortnite architect Donald Muster announced his departure, with Charlie Wen, a Marvel veteran who helped design God of War protagonist Kratos, replacing him. Wild. Why? And this is great because we'll get to it in the quick hits, but yeah, just yesterday V-Bucks prices are going up, and it's like, oh man, toward the end of my GameStop tenure, that's all parents bought, and that they were tired of hearing. It's like, I'm tired of hearing my kid want V-Bucks. And now that the prices are going up, they're going to get even more upset about it and complain even more. They're going to have to say, because some parents would buy like their kids like a handful of cards, and now I think it's like, you gonna get 2 cards and like it.
Yeah, and if you want to get some V-Bucks and support the Nerd Cave, you can go over to the Epic Game Store and use our creator code Nerd Cave at checkout. But thinking about this on the whole and everything, like it's absolutely crazy because I just looked up how much did Epic Games make in 2021. They don't have
Right.
2022 out. 5.76 billion with a B dollars. That was up 12.94% from their revenue the prior year, which was $5.1 billion.
Bruh. Like, they're rolling in cash. But of course, this is, they've been doing, obviously, yes, not all of their games are for us, right?
Mhm.
But they've done a lot of, like Microsoft, a lot of consumer friendly things. Like the Epic Game Store has been a great competitor to Steam. Now has it, you could argue, has it gone toe to toe with them financially? Debatable. But you'd have to look at the Steam numbers and breakdowns. But they did a lot of stuff, like offering more of a cut, like, and like, now, what was it talked about? It's like, oh, if you go with us, you get 100% of the revenue. However, there's two questions I want to pose to you. Do you think that this move to go to 100% revenue to the people that want to be exclusive to Epic, if this is like the backdraft of this, like, all right, now we can't
No.
afford to pay 800 people? And then two, do you think Donald Muster saw the writing on the wall, heard this was going down, and was like, I don't want to get blamed for this, so I'm stepping out?
I could see him definitely like checking out, like,
Yeah,
before bad news, because that mires any person,
right.
when stuff like that happens. I do not think this is because they're trying to incentivize people to publish their games exclusively on the Epic Games launcher. I
Mhm.
think it's more to what Nate is saying. Companies be greedy, yo.
You're
100%.
right.
Like
It's like,
you think about it, it's like they made over $5 billion last year.
yeah,
They also have been getting a bunch of developers and different companies like Bandcamp. Why does Epic need Bandcamp?
right. I haven't heard that since I was in college at Troy, like in the music industry program.
Yeah. And super awesome and all of this. And these aren't the only ones that got laid off. People that worked on Fall Guys got laid off. People that worked
Yeah,
on Rocket League got laid off as well. And when you buy companies, like a lot of times when you buy a company, it is for specific things that they offer, and there are redundancies within that company. People that you already have in your company that you don't necessarily need. So you are taking on extra people that you don't want to employ, but that needs to be considered when you are buying stuff out. But it's like they're making money hand over fist. They cannot say, oh well, COVID-19 is the reason why we're
yep,
making. It's like, don't be messing with me.
right,
Don't be messing with me,
right.
because a report came out on July 15th that an average of 239 million players play monthly on Fortnite, and a peak of 15 million players in a day.
Whoa. Yeah, no, they don't have an excuse here. They can't use, you can't, take a leak on me and tell me it's raining.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know, like, again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, yes, that is a free to play game. You could literally play that game and never spend $1. How many 13-year-olds where their friends are running around in a Goku skin are running around in that busted first skin that you get? That dude with the
Correct.
blonde hair, with that janky old pickaxe. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not doing that. They're paying the money. They're putting money in there. And again, it goes back to that $5.74 billion made in 2021. And it's like, what did they make in 2022? They're making money hand over fist. And yeah, they're consolidating, they're divesting, they're firing people. And it's still like they are giving packages to people, 6 month severance. Guess what? That
Mhm.
still costs money. Still costs
Yeah,
money.
exactly. Like,
So
it doesn't just appear out of thin air.
yeah. Amy said, "Boo to layoffs." Exactly, and like
Yeah.
I feel like every week we talk about layoffs in the gaming industry. Like with all of these highs, all of these game breaking, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, they made so much money. They had this many players. Starfield has over 10 million players, whatever. And I know this is not Bethesda, but it's like you
Yeah.
see all of these, high numbers of they're making money. GTA's making a ton of money, blah, 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 blah. But then you look on the other side of the industry, the people that are actually making these games, and week after week, people are getting laid off from these companies. If it's not Blizzard, it's Epic. If it's not Epic, then it's, what is that one that keeps laying off people all the time?
Embracer Group.
Like, it's all the time. And it's just like, my gosh, can we get a flipping break?
Right.
We're not even the ones that are losing our jobs either.
Right. And on a serious note, condolences and our thoughts go out to all the people that did get laid off, at, Epic. Because I'm sure, it was a shock to me, when you, especially when I read 800 people, I'm like, whoa. Now granted, like I said, 16% of their workforce means it's crazy. How many people do they have employed? But still, 800 people is a lot of people to get laid off. It's not just some small studio where 50 people got laid off, but still, shout out to all the people, thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by the layoffs. At the same time, as a side tangent, I feel like every year since we've been doing NerdCave, because this is our 3rd year, correct?
Yes.
Every year,
NerdCave News.
NerdCave News. I feel like every year we've had some kind of hot soapbox topic that we've talked about. I feel like our first year, it was microtransactions and, predatory loot boxes. Last year, it was crunch. And now this year's theme is layoffs. And it's like, bro, can we just go a year without having so many articles every week about granted, it's a hot button topic, but still it's like, can we just have some positive, no layoffs this week? Can we talk about studios hiring a bunch of people for once?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out if any of y'all math people want to tell us if 830 is 16% of the company. Y'all tell us. Y'all let us know. Let us know. Dan said it's mama's money. Yeah, it is mama's money with them V-Bucks. But yeah. Let's talk about something I was not expecting to see this week after, the Division last week. And now Ubisoft comes out again. It's just like, hey, we got some more stuff to talk about. Far Cry 7 reportedly due fall 2025 and will use the Snowdrop engine.
Interesting of note, because they normally use the Dunia engine for Far Cry games. So, but I have, especially 4 was rough on it, so Snowdrop, I think, will help make the game run smoother for what they want to do. So according to a report on Insider Gaming, Far Cry 7 is going to be released in fall of 2025 and will be developed on the Snowdrop engine at Ubisoft Montreal, where the project is currently known as Project Blackbird. Sources close to the site have claimed that Far Cry 7 will feature a non-linear narrative, and follows the player character attempting to rescue his kidnapped family. Apparently, this involves saving them within a specific time frame, which is reportedly 72 hours or 24 hours in real time, from a group known as the Sons of Truth. One key factor is that the family members can be rescued in any order, and given the non-linear nature of the campaign, it's possible for some to be killed outright. To attain 100% completion, you must rescue all your family members and take down the Sons of Truth. To help you achieve this, Far Cry 6 allegedly includes Far Cry 7 allegedly includes an interrogation mechanic, although this doesn't guarantee you the info you need. The game states that previous reports on Far Cry 7 that emerged earlier this year, which claimed it would be called Far Cry Rise and will take place on a fictional tropical island, are entirely inaccurate. So don't put too much faith in what you've heard previously. So, interesting of note, the whole time frame is interesting, the whole interrogation mechanic, because I heard kind of funny talk on this, and I forget what else that they said would be in the game mechanic-wise, but, just the fact that they're changing engines, and that they're doing, yes, of course, non-linear, which means, of course, open world, or at least open area. That's been a staple of Far Cry games since at least 2. It's interesting to see that they're not just, because they changed some of the mechanics, with the makeshift weapons, build your own weapons. Well, technically it started in New Dawn, build your own weapons, and they just enhanced it in 6. Kind of got back. I want to see who the celebrity villain is going to be, this time around, because we got Giancarlo Esposito, or Gus Fring himself from Breaking Bad, as the main villain in Far Cry 6. I didn't play any of 6. I played 5, and 3 is still my favorite to this day. 4 was good. 5 I played, I never beat, but I liked its openness because, they're keeping with that same theme because, they say rescue family members in any order. Like that was the way in 5. It's like 5, you had this, the family occultists, the doomsday preppers, and you can beat them in any order, doesn't matter. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's what I've wanted for my Far Cry game because 3 and 4 ticked me off because it's like, I want to go anywhere. Well, you can't go to this half of the map because you got to progress the story. I'm like, boo hiss. Just let me explore, dang it.
Yeah. Like 3 is, I feel like everybody's favorite just because
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the one that kind of set the trajectory of it.
It
For
put the
me,
franchise on the map.
yeah, for me, Far Cry like is dead to me. Like after Primal,
Fair.
I was like, nah, I'm good, dog. I'm
Yeah,
good.
because what was it? It was just a reskin. When someone broke it down, it was like it was just a reskinned Far Cry 4 with
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
100%. I do like the 72 hours thing. They did talk about if you go into a safe house, it stops the time, so it's not
Good.
eating up into that and everything. But I hope that the Sons of Truth, like I know the celebrity like thing has been kind of the go-to, but I feel like they lean too heavy on that for being the selling factor of these games instead of
Correct.
innovating. So I'm fine with not having a celebrity for the Sons of Truth. Like make every one of them interesting, make each one of
Mhm.
them unique, have their own story, have their own motivations. Yeah, they're all working towards the same thing, but make these characters interesting, have them fight in different ways, have like the biomes or whatever that
Yeah.
they're going to be in different. And you've got to make the connection with the family. I think that is something that is very difficult with games, even movies, where it's like, oh, you're supposed to care about these characters, but you spend 10 minutes with them in, the
Correct.
very beginning of the game, and then they get kidnapped. And it's like, that doesn't make me want to save these people because I don't even know these people. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
I
you're
don't
safe.
even I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, that's your dad. And it's like, I don't know that dude.
Right.
Like I have to have a connection for me to want to go save these people. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
oh, well, dad wouldn't let me go party last night. Well, guess what? Not saving dad. You know what I mean? So it's like, there has to be a reason, there has to be actual connection and everything, and there has to be actual fear. I think that's one thing that
Good
Far
point.
Cry 3 did really well with its villain is you were actually afraid of what was going to happen. And to make these characters feel real and actually, oh my God, like my family is in danger, like
Mhm.
there has to be actual fear. There has to actually be stakes instead of, well, I can save them if I want to when I want to, and yeah, I got 72 hours or blah blah blah. Like there has to be that fear factor in there. Not with Joe Rogan, but in this game, maybe Joe Rogan is the villain for this
Oh,
game.
that'd be too on the nose. Oh my gosh. And they all take alpha brain.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. So, like, you definitely can see Ubisoft is doubling and tripling down on already established franchises. I did
Right.
hear kind of funny talking about this that the idea of like the 72 hours and like the interrogation and all of that, that was uh, a different game actually, but they've kind of
Mhm.
put it into Far Cry. So we are getting ideas that might not have stood well on their own, but they're bringing them into already established franchises, which we're seeing a lot of Assassin's Creed. I'm glad that
Yep.
we're not just getting Assassin's Creed from Ubisoft and the one Star Wars game that they're working on.
Right.
And the Division 3 was definitely a surprise last week as well. So,
Right.
um, to the math, real quick. Amy
Yeah.
did the math, and it says
Okay.
it's 5,000 employees overall. If 16% of that is 830.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But still, it doesn't negate the fact that it's like that's like the bigger you are, it doesn't mean it's like, oh, like because yeah, you could sell in a vacuum. You could have just said not seeing, obviously they have to make their numbers public, but it's like in a vacuum to the ill-informed, you can say, oh, we just laid off 16% of our workforce, and people like, okay, that's not too bad. But when you look at how many people are employed and then how many people that actually affects, is still like, man, like I don't even know if I see 830 people in a day. You know what I mean? That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's like every one of those has a life. Every one of
Yeah.
those has, family.
Significant others,
They're
family.
they're they're trying to provide and everything, and it sucks. That there's no way around
Yep.
that. It sucks.
Yep.
Let's move into the PlayStation news for this week. Sony gets hacked again. Ransomware
Woof.
group claims it has compromised all of Sony systems, plans to sell stolen data.
So, according to Cybersecurity Connect, the group, which is relatively new to the scene, having appeared only last month, has already, quote, racked up an impressive amount of victims, end quote. In addition, it states that the attackers posted some proof of hack data, but this is, quote, not particularly compelling information on the face of things, end quote. This includes screenshots allegedly of an internal login page, an internal PowerPoint presentation, numerous Java files, and a file tree of the leak which contains fewer than 6,000 files. Members of the ransomed.vic are believed to operate largely out of Ukraine and Russia. Quote, we have successfully compromised all of Sony's systems. We won't ransom them. We will sell the data due to Sony not wanting to pay. Data is for sale. The group's claims remain unverified at the time of writing, but we'll keep you in the loop if any more info becomes available. And I'm going to go ahead and hop into this next point. Sony confirms it has launched investigation after claims. The group named Ransom.vic claimed to have, quote, compromised all of Sony systems and was planning to sell the stolen data. While at the time of these claims had yet to be verified, Sony isn't taking any chances and is now launching a full investigation, as confirmed in a statement issued to IGN. Quote, we are currently investigating the situation and we have no further comment at this time, end quote. The group in question is believed to mainly operate out of the Ukraine and Russia and has only just become active within the last month or so. They are threatening to post the Sony data by today, don't know what time frame, but today, if no buyer comes forward before that time. So it sucks if this is true. Like, obviously, like, it's just like those spam emails, spam text, because I got a message the other day. It's like, oh, thank you for purchasing blah 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 out of New York City, blah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not even entertaining this because all you want to do is get me to call to decline this, and then you're going to get my card information and basically hack and steal from my account. No, sir, no, thank you.
Yeah.
like literally, like, this is what I feel like it is, because obviously, after the 2011 shutdown, they don't want to take anything for granted. Like, and how many reports during the PS4 era did we talk about or see that oh, Sony got hacked? Like, it seemed like it was almost like a Christmas present at this point, because it was always around Christmas that, like, Sony got hacked. Now, those were minor ones, but, again, 2011 was a staple point, and Sony doesn't want to deal with that again and experience that, because albeit it was like 2 months, it was still like a terrible, spit on their face. And they don't want to take this for granted. But I feel like the way this is worded and the way that, the quote reads is just like, oh yeah, we've hacked you. Meet our demands, or like, send us about $8,000 in Visa gift cards, or we'll sell your data, just to scam you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what comes from this, but
Correct.
only time will tell, especially since today is the 28th. If any information will leak or if it's a bluff, we don't know. But we'll see tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. If any reports say, yeah, Sony got hacked, it's like, well, crap.
Yeah. Let's move on. This is the interesting one for the evening. I love that you even put in your name for him, but Jaw Jack and Jim Ryan to retire next spring.
Hallelujah. In which I literally said, like, I was putting the dot together, and again, it was like something that popped up last minute. I was about to be done with the show, and I'm like, huh, interesting. And I looked at that, and I forwarded the article to you, and then sent you the gif of, like, hallelujah. It was like, I think it was from, like, what's the Whoopi Goldberg movie? Sister Act. I think it was from Sister Act, where they're just like going, hallelujah. It was like, ding dong, the witch is dead. Jim Ryan, who's been president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment since 2019, is retiring in March of next year. The news first broke via post on Twitter from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier before Sony confirmed it with their own announcement shortly after. Hiroki Totaki will assume the interim CEO role starting on April 1st. That's not the way. April Fools. The Sony Group Corporation president, COO, and CFO will also become chairman of the SIE starting next month to support Mr. Ryan in his transition. Additionally, Sony said Toteki will work closely with Sony Group Corporation Chairman and CEO Kenichiro Yoshida to navigate PlayStation's future, including the succession of the SIE CEO role. In a statement today, Ryan cited the difficulty of living in Europe while working in North America as a reason for the decision. Quote, after 30 years, I have made the decision to retire from SIE in March. Ryan said in his statement, I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with great people and incredible partners. But I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. PlayStation will always be part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than ever about the future of SIE. I want to thank Yoshida-san for placing so much trust in me and being an incredibly sensitive and supportive leader. Ryan started his career at PlayStation's European branch in 1994. He would go on to hold various leadership positions before replacing John Cordero as president and CEO of SIE in 2019. Again, great for him that he's going out on a, not a low note, on a semi-high note, but at the same time, finally, as The Rock would say.
Like it's very interesting. We think of Sean Layden, like he went out at the very end of the PlayStation 4 era. I think this is to better ramp up what is fixing to come, which will be the PlayStation 6 and everything, because they're about to get ready for that. My question and my thought is, what kind of CEO is going to follow Jim Ryan? Is it going to be another businessman? Is it going to be somebody that is more like Jim Ryan than not? That is going to push this games as service narrative that Sony is really going towards? Or do we get somebody that is more like Jack Tretton or Sean Layden that's more game focused? I feel like we're going to get another businessman. I feel like
I do too, and even if we don't, right? Like, because yes, it would be great to have a Phil Spencer-esque person in the seat. At the same time, I think because we saw it at the PlayStation Showcase, that was very underwhelming for us because we saw so many live service games that we didn't care about or didn't speak to us, or let's just like, I don't know about this one, Chief. And we've seen like studios like Naughty Dog, like the supposed rumors that their Last of Us multiplayer game or whatever it was, they're struggling with it, and they had to delay, like they had to delay factions, out of like supposedly out of this year, and it's like you think the higher ups have already made this investment and have already started turning the tide to this format. So no matter what kind of person they get in, there's regardless of the person that they bring in, they're going to put pressure on them to be like, hey, we know you might have these ideas, but you got to get us through this part first before we can even consider doing that.
Yeah, because the ship's already out of the port, Correct. For me, I feel like it's going to be somebody that we necessarily won't agree with on a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan has done a lot of good things for PlayStation. I will say that, but my God, like he is not the person to be the spokesperson for PlayStation.
No, that's for sure.
It felt like almost every week there was another thing that he would say that's just like, I don't know about that, Chief. Foot and mouth. It's just like, I'm sure you got athlete's foot on your tongue at this point. It was just over and over and over again, and it really made it hard to like celebrate the wins for PlayStation because you knew within 2 weeks Jim Ryan was going to say something that was anti-consumer pretty much. So
I mean, heck, just look at the whole court case with the FTC with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Like, he made himself out to be a villain hard in that whole debacle.
100%. Now, I know you will agree with me, Derek, 100%. And I know Kind of Funny will 100% agree with me because I heard them talk about this as well. There's only one man for this job. There's only one man with the grace.
I was just going to say, is he full of grace?
He is full of grace. Shuhei Yoshida for president. That's what I want. I want Shuhei. You want Shuhei. and you
Mm-hmm.
want Shuhei, I would love to see Shuhei step into this position to be able to shepherd what
Yeah.
PlayStation is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It would be amazing. I know Shu has been there for a very long time.
Correct.
So I don't know if he necessarily wants this like type of responsibility because it's a lot of stress. But man, I would be so happy to see Shuhei Yoshida full of grace being
Yep.
at that number one spot, baby.
I would too. If that news ever breaks, I will literally send you that article and then send you the gif of the sand people going as a victory screech. But here's my thing. The only reason he wouldn't do it is because he had to step down from overseeing our first party or or president because he wanted I don't know if the stress got to him or whatnot, but he took a step back to live as more simplistic, just worry about indie games. Like I know he's been in the background, so I don't know if he wants to step into the forefront again
Yeah.
and be the spokesperson because like it depends on how his like reclusive life has gone. Because ever since he's done that, we've mum's the word on what he's been
Yep.
doing. So he may just want to live that lifestyle going forward till he retires. At the same time, maybe he's taking that back to like rejuvenate, recharge his batteries, focus
Yeah.
on what he wants to do, and is like just waiting, biding his time for an opportunity. And it's like, all right, let me give this a shot again.
Yeah. He could be, in the wastelands training like
Mhm.
Piccolo, getting ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? Getting ready to
Mhm.
come out and just like try to take down Goku. You know what I mean? And
Right.
talking about Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
Saiyan Saga. You know what I mean? But
Or
anyway,
he could be like Vegeta from what was it? Was it Android Saga where like he's sitting there in the capsule thing like training at 400 times gravity.
yeah, it was the
Oh.
Android Saga. Yep. But I hope we get somebody that's more gamer centric than necessarily the business. But again, it comes back to the board, all the people that have a say in this. We'll see. Only time will tell. But I am excited to see where PlayStation goes in the future. And we're not done with PlayStation. We got some PlayStation quickies coming at you hot and fresh out the oven.
Right. New PS5 owners are being offered a free game in the US when they buy the Spider-Man. I think it's the Spider-Man bundle, but yes, right now the new people who buy PS5 are getting a free game. The Revolution 5 Pro is Nacon's new PS5 controller delivering quote advanced design and cutting-edge tech end quote. Jim Ryan, speaking of which, admits PlayStation Home was quote 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. Phil Spencer pays tribute to Jim Ryan, calling him a quote fierce leader for PlayStation. 5-star rating system comes to PS Store for PS5 and PS4 games. That's gonna be a lot of review bombing there. I feel. More Final Fantasy VII news. Final Fantasy VII remake project will quote link up with Advent Children. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth offers offers one seamless map from the original game's world. Original game's world map has been created to a 1-to-1 real scale. Rebirth will explore Rufus with quote new episodes that do not exist in the original. The Last of Us Part 2's Dina actor is in the studio for a quote top secret video game. Yuri Lowenthal, who we met at Pensacon, is happy to keep playing Peter Parker for as long as possible. Spider-Man 2 will let players hop on the Coney Island park rides, which I found that a little cool. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition, we talked about rumors last week, is real, and it hits PS5 next week on October 6th. However, PC version players will have to wait next year. New month, it's the end of September with October looming on Sunday, which means we got new PlayStation Plus Essential games for October. First up, we've got the Callisto Protocol on PS5 and PS4, Farming Simulator 22 on the PS5 and PS4, and Weird West on the PS5 and PS4. It's ironic. Glenn Schofield leaves the studio last week, and now it's going to be a free game on PS5, PS4. I don't know if they're admitting defeat here or not. Like just saying like, we tried, guys. We couldn't do it. Let's just throw it out there. Let people try it.
I don't know if it's necessarily that because this deal would have been going on for a while before.
I mean, fair.
Brohan left and everything, but I can see where you're coming from. Can I just take a moment and just say Phil Spencer is a class act?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I was going to literally talk on that as well. I'm like, bro, especially after the debacle where Jim Ryan looked at him in the face and was like, I don't care what you offer me. I want to block your merger. And after seeing this, Phil Spencer could have come out and been like low hanging fruit and just like chopped him at the knees and spit on his face and be like, you know what? Good riddance to you. But he's like, you know what? You're a fierce leader, you know. But I almost feel like that's tongue in cheek and being like, you got in my face a little too much. Why don't you back off, son?
But it's like he's just a class act with it's like, all right, you're gone. I'm still here.
Right.
I'm still
it's
here.
lonely at the top of the mountain. I kicked off Reggie. I've kicked off Jim Ryan. I'm the only one who
Sean
remains.
Layden. He was there when Sean
he
was
kicked off
there.
Sean Layden. That's true. But I don't think he and Sean got along.
Oh
though,
yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, what would be crazy, Derek, is they announce Phil Spencer as the head of Sony.
Oh, there'd be no way. The only way that would happen is if they bought PlayStation.
Oh yeah, 100%. I thought it would just be hilarious. He's just like, he just gives you that nod. You know that nod, that Phil Spencer nod. Guys, we're about getting to the Patreon quick hits. The quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. That's why they're called the Patreon quick hits. Become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave and picking the tier that fits best for you. And there's something awesome that is going on now. You can actually go over there, even if you don't pick a tier. You can follow the page for free. You can join for free and see all the cool stuff that's going on there. So if you want to see some cool behind the scenes stuff, sometimes we let that go for anybody. So you can get all that cool stuff. And then when you're ready to pick a tier, you can also do that as well. But now it is time for the Patreon quick hits.
So starting off, Rocksmith 2014 will finally leave digital storefronts on October 23rd. Going with this year's theme, more layoffs will, quote, ultimately come from Embracer Group, though CEO is looking for outside investment to avoid some layoffs. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre surpasses 4 million players in its first month. The CMA has provisionally agreed to allow Microsoft's planned acquisition of Activision in the UK. Diablo 4's Lilith, Inarius, Evil Dead's Ash Williams, Marvel's Spawn, and Skeletor revealed as new operators for Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 Season 6. Man, they making some weird crossovers. Like, Fortnite does some weird things, but Call of Duty's like, hold my beer. Tekken 8 confirms Ling Xiaoyu's bodyguard, an adorable panda, is joining the fight. Ezio, Cassandra, and Connor return in Assassin's Creed Nexus VR on November 16th. Octopath Traveler 2 hits Xbox and Windows early next year. There was some speculation whether it was going to come to Game Pass Day 1, but they've since walked that back. Maybe it was too early to talk about it. Maybe the ink hasn't dried yet, but for right now, just coming to Xbox and Windows next year. Tales of the Shire is a cozy Lord of the Rings game that is coming next year. 5 years after launch, Sea of Thieves is finally getting a solo mode. Valve says don't expect a Steam Deck 2 for at least, quote, a couple years. Game Boy Advance's Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is the latest addition to Switch Online. Unity removes runtime fee for entry-level users, and the fee will now only affect games made with the next version of Unity launching in 2024. Hideki Kamiya confirms he is leaving Platinum Games on October 12th. Cal Kestis voice actor Cameron Monaghan reveals a third Star Wars Jedi game is in development. Duh. Iconic horror franchise Scream is reportedly getting its own video game. Capcom boss would, quote, gracefully decline any Microsoft buyout offer. That's interesting. Dragon Dogma 2's game director confirms the game won't feature loading screens when you're off exploring. Behavior Interactive says there's, quote, no reason to make a Dead by Daylight sequel. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice has sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Star Wars' Ahsoka Tano Battle Pass is now available in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 4. Something after today, this feels dirty talking about this. And then, like we alluded to earlier, Fortnite V-Bucks increasing in price by 12 to 15% on October 27th. So if you want to get it for right now, go ahead and buy them. Go ahead and bulk buy them for your holiday wish list for your kids, because otherwise they'll get more expensive. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden getting physical editions for consoles. Resident Evil Village for iPhone 15 Pro will be out on October 15th. Metal Gear Solid Master
30th.
Collection Volume... What did I say, 16th?
You said 15th.
15th, excuse me. October 30th for Village on iPhone 15 Pro. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 will let players recreate classic Psycho Mantis save data scene, which arguably is one of the coolest things about the first game. Don't Nod has delayed Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden to February 13th. EA has delisted all its previous FIFA games from digital storefronts, arguably so. Makes sense. Ubisoft partners with Children in Need for Just Dance for Pudsey. Starbreeze investigating possible removal of Payday 3's always online requirement. The Talos Principle 2 launches on November 2nd. Alan Wake 2 will have a performance mode on PS5 and Series X. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is coming to PC. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 Plus 2 finally has a Steam release date of October 3rd after 3 years of Epic exclusivity. Star Wars Eclipse is still alive, as Quantic Dreams insists it's, quote, simmering. Sega announces cancellation of Hyenas and other unannounced projects. The Minecraft movie script is now complete. Filming can begin in spring of next year if deal with actors is solidified. Vampire Survivors free whiteout update brings new stage, character, weapon, and more. Counter-Strike 2 is suddenly now available on PC, just stealth launching it. Ridiculous 89-hit Mortal Kombat 1 combo lasts almost a minute. Man, come on, get your training up. You couldn't get a 90-hit combo? Man, you a slacker. Xbox Cloud Gaming arrives on MetaQuest this December. Following that, MetaQuest 3 starts shipping on October 10th. Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, gets official release date of October 19th, and along with new cast member announcements. A new Devil May Cry anime from Castlevania showrunner is coming to Netflix. Last one is just a facepalm moment. The FTC revives challenge against Microsoft's Activision Blizzard buyout. Bro, if you're doing this to be a troll, go die. Go die in a hole. But if you're doing this because you have some more evidence, sure, we'll entertain it.
At this point, I'm so over talking about this whole buyout merger thing.
Right.
Like FTC, just stop. Just let us.
Cue the Family Guy song, the freaking FTC.
Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff there, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We covered so many cool things. Let us know what your favorite thing was. Amy says Tales of the Shire. She's stoked for that. It's going to be, I think it's going to be super cute game.
I think so too.
And I think she's going to really, really enjoy it. But guys, we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, hit the like button and subscribe. This has been Zach.
And Zephyr Sahar, the genie.
Y'all have a blessed week. Boy. Guys. It's in the tube. It's done. Y'all let us know. How did you enjoy the stream, the show tonight? Let us know down in the comments below, y'all. We got like, we'll give y'all like 10 more minutes. Give y'all 10 more minutes. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, but I'll say I liked it because we got to felt like it was one of those soapbox episodes this week. You know what I mean? Because we had a lot to talk. We had a lot on our minds about this, especially with the whole video game price increase from Capcom.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I enjoyed that one a lot. Yeah, it was a good show, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Yeah. And we said good show. Nate says good stuff.
Yeah.
Now time for Party Animals. Man, I want to play some Party Animals. Not tonight. I'm tired. Today's been a long day for me.
No, I can imagine, bro.
We did like almost a 2-hour podcast at work today.
Oh, wow. So yeah. Then you come home and do almost another 2-hour podcast.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm man, it's almost October.
Crazy to think about. We're in the final 3 months of the year.
Yeah. October 16th is the day where Spider-Man reviews go out.
Oh, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
4 days before. A little close for comfort, but you know what? It won't matter because we're going to play that thing regardless.
Oh, yeah. I'm stoked for that. And then Alan Wake 2 comes out
a week after.
Yeah. So many good things. I'm still debating if I'm going to take off the week of Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Man.
Like, cause it comes out like on a Friday. Like,
all right,
taking
gotta get
that
down on Friday.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I want to.
You just better warn Amy. You just better warn Amy. Is like, hey babe, don't make any plans this that weekend, because I ain't leaving the house.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, because I want to play it on stream. That's the other thing. It's like, do I just stream all the time while I'm playing? You know what I mean?
It's rated T for teen, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it'd be borderline. Like, you'd have to, like, you know, like.
Well, dude, I played. Yeah, like I don't think that'll be a problem. It's just like the amount of time that I want to like put into it. It's like, do I just stream? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get you.
It's like, do I stream the main story
or like
and do the side quests like off? But a lot of those games like mix it, you know what I mean, where you have to do side quests to be able to whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, in open world games have gotten to, like, I don't want to say it started with Spider-Man 2018, but it's one of the more recent examples of, like, they've gotten better about it. Instead of just like throwing you in, doing a few things, and then it's like, all right, you've got 8 billion things to do, have fun, and then you forget what you're doing in the story. Whereas like Spider-Man 2018 progressed, like, hey, do a few story missions, and then it's like, oh, here's the backpacks, go do this, and then all of a sudden you would do it as a side quest, and then it would lock all of that to do at your own leisure, instead of just being like, all right, now you got to go do all this stuff, you know, or give you all this stuff. You could because like the districts in the first one, like, of course I would do all like the, you know, the immediate side stuff and collectibles, but like the crimes in progress, I just did it as I progressed, and like, you know, I was like, all right, I'm swinging into this objective. It's like, oh, we've got a armed robbery in progress. All right, let me go stop this. And then it's like, all right, you're at 3 of 5. And eventually I would just clear all the districts, do the 5 out of 5, you know, crimes in progress, and be done with it.
Now, I wonder if I did like all the side missions and then came back to like the story, like how overpowered I would be.
Right. It's sort of like, you know, the like RPGs like are notorious for this. Like, all right, you do all this, you grind up, and then you face the first boss, and you're like level 100 to a level 5.
Yeah, that's how I would do Pokemon back in the day. I would like outside the first gym, like Brock's gym, essentially on Yellow, I would just like train out in the tall grass and then come back in, and I would just murder his Pokemon. It was just like, oh my God, he's here. Oh man. Now, Derek, have you watched Team 4-Star before?
Oh yes, man. Yes, sir. I watched all of Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Okay, so I'm going back through. I just finished the Frieza saga of Abridged, and man, it's so good. It's called Team 4-Star, and it is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious.
Now, it not family friendly.
It is not family friendly. So
hide your kids, hide your wife, but it is hilarious. Like, Vegeta makes that Bridge Vegeta makes that show. Like, he's like, thought the plans? Are you? and then throwing in the Krillin own count, just like it's just like great. Yeah. Did you know? Did you?
The space duck, my favorite.
Did you get to like the thing that made me like bust a gut? Like I was on the floor laughing. Was just like, you know, the whole mythos, like they presented, like, because, you know, they built Mr. Popo up, and, you know, as this like deity figure almost, and then he summons the eternal dragon, and the eternal dragon gets attitude, and then he's like, it is you, my master. And I lost it. I'm like,
I love that. Like Mr. Pope, pecking order.
Right.
No, bring me the Dragon Balls.
It was
so
like
I
when
can
it
wish
was.
for
I
a
think
plasma
Frieza showed up.
TV.
It was like, what was it? Nail, don't take his coat.
Yeah, like I loved just like Guru, and like totally opposite what you see him in the Dragon Ball Z show and everything. Like,
Right.
no.
And then when he's like, when it becomes a ghost, and then he just like haunts Nail, and I'm like, Nail.
I need an adult. I am an adult. Dan says, I've been watching all the DBZ movies on Crunchyroll lately, and I noticed Gohan is constantly being saved by Piccolo. Yeah, that's why, like, in Abridged, he's like, dodge!
Yeah.
He's
Dodge!
Like, he's like, why didn't you dodge? Which is hilarious, because I watched the Trunks movie, essentially like a bridged movie, and Gohan's like dodge and like doing the same thing to Trunks. It's great. Like, again, it's not family friendly, but it is hilarious, and like it's a
if
lot.
You like Dragon Ball Z, you would do yourself a disservice not to at least watch a parody of it.
It's cut down, like it's not all the filler stuff either, and they make a ton of references to other things. Murdoch says, so I used to love DBZ, but I can't remember a lot of it. Maybe one day I can rewatch it. Like this gives you like all the stuff of Dragon Ball Z, but in a hilarious way. Like one of my favorites is when Nappa, like they go to the bug planet and he's like like so many things that I can't say, but it's
and it's like, bro,
yeah, it's so good. It's hilarious. But like Goku, like his muffin button is like muffin button.
Muffin button? No, don't touch it. Muffin button. And like, and they just make him like, granted, yes, was Goku the smartest character in Dragon Ball Z? No, he was kind of a ditz, but they make him like a dunce in the abridged version. Like, it's just like, it did like the most asinine things that you would never, like, you just common sense takes over. He's like, yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah. And
like, what was it? It's like, I'm going to drown you. I'm going to drown you like a sack of dumb puppies. Did you drown puppies? Because I can't cuddly. Are you coming on to me?
It's like, Grandpa, I don't want another bath. I'm clean. Like, when Krillin like won't learn Dende's name.
Little Green.
Yeah, Little Green. It's like, or when Vegeta's like, heal me, and he's like, say my name.
Little Green.
I wish they would do the original Dragon Ball. I think that would be hilarious, because like the Dragon Ball already has like way more comedy than DBZ does, so it would be hilarious to see them do that. They did release, we talked about it on Tuesday night stream. They did like 28 minutes worth of like footage for the Boo saga, and they've been putting those out, but they're not like episodes like they used to do or whatever. It's just like random bits and everything. But they're very funny. So, but yeah, I just finished the Frieza saga, going into the Android Cell saga. And then they've done a lot of the movies as well. Yeah,
the Cell saga is really good too. I just remember this other scene from the Frieza saga is like, oh, I can't sense my energy. No, but I can hear you, moron. He has that vision.
One of my favorites is like when Krillin is like quack, and then I think it's Dodoria. He's like, he's like the space duck. Such a majestic such a majestic creature or whatever.
Oh man.
They kept getting copyright struck. Yeah, I can imagine like that would have been super annoying, like as a creator.
There is another. I was almost going to say it. I'm glad you kind of stated where you're at. There's a scene in the Android saga, like toward the beginning of it, where it's pretty funny too, where it's another Vegeta moment.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. like watching the show, like if I went back and watched Dragon Ball Z, I probably would do what is the one that they redid, like the animations and everything, and they cut a lot of the filler out? It's like Dragon Ball Kai. Yeah. I probably would watch Kai.
Yeah.
Just to like get away from some of the filler. But at the same time, like none of the like box set releases or anything like are amazing.
Yeah.
Like the orange box sets, like I have those, but like you look at the quality
and
like, all of that, like the whites are like blown out. The like there's a lot of issues with them. But yeah, I probably would do Kai.
I just remember like when Vegeta, like it's in the Namek saga where like Krillin like gets one over on Vegeta, and then like Nappa's like Vegeta, and it's like the ghost of Nappa, and then like Vegeta breaks a blood vessel, like, and he just like screaming for like 5 minutes, and then like where the whole planet, like or the whole like out until like the galaxies could hear him, and Krillin catches like pure H Gohan.
Like I love that they literally like cut to like several years, like I think it's like they cut to the Trunks, like future Trunks, and it's like it's like what? And like even in the Trunks movie, they have like there's a section where you can hear the scream. They put it in there as well. I'm haunting you, Vegeta. Oh, it's good. Y'all definitely should go check it out if you haven't checked out Team 4-Star. Again, not family friendly, but it is really funny, and it's a quick way to get through
the Dragon Ball Z slot.
Yeah, like you still get the fights; they're still there, but you're not getting everything dragged out.
Yeah, you're not having Goku yell for 3 episodes to power up to Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, well worth the watch. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. We hope that you enjoyed it. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all blessed week. Bye.